What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. Before we get into things, come here, sit down. We have to have a talk about this whole Damian Lillard thing. So yesterday, the Twitter literally exploded because there was some stupid guy that decided to put out a report that Damian Lillard was requesting a trade in the next coming days, which was definitely false. It was not true because Damian Lillard even went on an interview today. The man himself, I just listened to this interview and now I'm recording this video. I was waiting for this interview to come out and see what Damian Lillard had to say. But just know that all the rumors and reports that were saying he's requesting a trade the next few days were false. They were not true. And I'm going to tell you what I gather from the Damian Lillard situation based off what he said in the interview. So basically, and I will say that I completely agree with Damian Lillard on this. Basically, he said that, to summarize it all up, you know, he wasn't committed. He wasn't sure what his future is like. He expects to play in Portland this next season. This team is not a championship team if you look at it. He literally said that if you really think that this team, if you look at this team right now after we lost to a, shorthanded Denver Nuggets team and say this is a championship team, I don't agree with you, basically is what he said. So basically what I gather is that Neil O'Shea needs to stop being so complacent, stop making minimal moves, and actually do something. That's what I gather. That's what Damian Lillard wants. The time is now. The urgency is here. It is time to get better. You can't sit back and not do anything every offseason or make these stupid moves where you sign Evan Turner to a 4-year, $70 million, or you just do. You guys know Neil O'Shea's made some dub moves in the past. So that's basically what I gathered. That Damian Lillard, not yet. It's not happening yet. But if Portland doesn't change things soon and we go into this next year, we lose in the first round again, then I would be scared. For me, as a Blazers fan, I would be scared, and I would not even blame Dame if he was going to request a trade that following offseason. But today, now that I've got that intro out of the way, I apologize if that was too long. I just really wanted to get that out of the way. Today, what we're doing is I am firing Neil O'Shea. Obviously, I can't do that, but in 2K, I can. I can kind of, have fun here in 2K and do some things. So what I'm doing is firing Neil O'Shea, and I'm taking over. I'm making sure Dame stays in Portland. We're going to make this team better. We're going to make this team better today. That's what we're doing. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already. The goal today is to make sure Damian Lillard is happy. We're not going to sit around and wait for CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard win a championship. No, my friends. We're doing something. We're changing things today. Go ahead and enjoy saving the Portland Trailblazers rebuild today. Pressure is on. The skillet is hot. It is time, Neil O'Shea. You do something. Oh, you don't want to do anything? You just want to stick around with CJ and Dame? You're fired. You're fired. I'm the GM now. In 2K, I'm the GM anyway. Okay, all right. All jokes aside, it is time. Why is Aldridge here? I have no idea. But it is time to do something. It is time to do something. This man, Damian Lillard, might walk out on our very own eyes. We don't want to see that happen. Things got to change. They have to change now. They have to change now. So that's what we're doing today. So I will say, obviously, a lot of you have been very annoyed that Evan Mobley goes #1, including myself. I've been really annoyed. I like this draft class. The only thing I don't like is how Evan Mobley goes #1 to the Pistons every time. It's really stupid. But in this draft, he actually, or not Evan Mobley, I apologize. Jaden Springer is what I meant to say. Not Evan Mobley. Jaden Springer is what I meant to say. Jaden Springer actually went very late in the draft like he's supposed to. So that's good. Or at least late. I think he's been like a projected late lottery pick, or maybe late first round pick. I don't know. But he didn't go #1 to the Pistons. That's what's been happening. And it's been annoying me too. Trust me. So with that out of the way, we do have the coaching staff. We have Chauncey Billups here as well. Let's go to, let's just get started, man. So we obviously didn't have a draft pick because of the Robert Covington trade. It goes to the Rockets. So we have Jusuf Nurkic. Obviously, we'll accept that team option. Norman Powell is going to be a free agent, so that's a big decision to make. And then Derrick Jones Jr. next year, little Derrick Jones decides to accept that $9 million player option, which is fine because that definitely helps us out in salary. So Zach Collins, Portland does not expect to match anything. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent or give him his qualifying offer, which makes sense. He's been injured, so I imagine he probably has no trade value. Why would we resign him? It just, I could definitely see a situation where he just goes somewhere else, rehabs for a year, and then becomes whatever he can be in the NBA. I don't know what he's going to be. Probably a solid role player, but we'll see. So, free agency, though. Obviously, Portland doesn't have a ton of cap space. Literally none. Like, we have a mid-level. That's about it. So, Norman Powell is going to be the guy, obviously, we're very interested in resigning. Watching him walk this offseason would be very detrimental to this team. But now when I look at this roster right now, obviously, you look at this, Nurkic and CJ McCollum. I would say Nurkic is a little safe. I'm not throwing him like that. He's 100% not being traded. But CJ needs to go. I love CJ, and I appreciate everything he's done for our franchise. But he is not the guy to play next to Damian Lillard. He's got to go. And obviously, we've been doing that a lot but it just became very, very important now that Damian Lillard's made it very clear something's got to change. So that's what we're doing today. So CJ McCollum, don't know what I'm going to get for him. I'm going to throw him in the trade finder real quick just to see what would pop up. Obviously, the trade finder is not going to be a realistic. There's probably not going to be a ton of realistic trades I can find, but at least I can find something and maybe build off something. So the Bulls are for me Kobe White. So looking at this, Drew Holiday would be cool, but I don't know why Milwaukee would do this. Right now, they're currently tied, obviously, in the NBA Finals. We'll have to see how that goes. But they're not trading a defender in Drew Holiday for CJ McCollum. I guess it's possible, but I find it highly unlikely, especially since they're in the NBA Finals right now. So Kobe White and a first-round pick. Obviously, Kobe White's a very good young player, but that doesn't help Damian Lillard now. Colin Sexton, cool, but he's 22 years old, and we just have the same problem where we have a very small backcourt. So no thanks. Al Horford, do I even have to say why this is not smart? I'm not going to go through everyone. That I would just be wasting my time. So going to the trade finder right now. Let's see. Karis LeVert from the Pacers. Would be cool, but I don't really love that. Honestly, what I'm looking for is more of a forward here, but I don't see anything popping up. Obviously, the obvious thing to do is maybe try to convince Philly to trade him to me. Get Ben Simmons from Philly, but I've done that in a lot of Blazers rebuilds lately, so I'm going to try to go a different route today. I'm going to try to get someone else. I don't know who that's going to be, but hopefully I can find something different other than just trading for Ben Simmons. So I don't know what I'm going to find, but I'm going to attempt to see if I can find something in order to, stay away from just always trading for Ben Simmons. I'm not going to lie to you. Finding a trade to trade CJ McCollum for was very, very tough outside of just trading for Ben Simmons, just because I literally couldn't find a whole lot that I thought made sense, but I just decided to go with this. So obviously you guys look at what it says on the screen. You probably already know what I might have just done. So basically, the only reason that I did this is because, let's just look at the trade and I'll talk about why I did this. So CJ McCollum, this year, little Anthony Simons, and a 2025 first round pick for Paul George. So Paul George coming to the Trailblazers. Obviously, that would give us a nice wing player, a guy that can actually play defense, and somebody who could still be really good on the offensive end. So basically, it's better than CJ as well. So the only reason the Clippers would do this, and I will say this, and I don't think this is actually going to happen, but the only reason the Clippers would do this, Paul George is going to be out for most of the season next year, apparently, because he from that torn ACL or whatever it was. And if I don't know what Kawhi's future is like, so I don't know, man. I'm just doing it for entertainment purposes. I'm not saying this is gonna happen. I was trying really hard not to trade for Ben Simmons, so I just decided to go with getting Paul George instead. So that's kind of how we did things. So Damian Lillard and Paul George tandem. I know, right? That's weird because these guys seem like they hate each other, but apparently they've squashed the beef, and everything is fine. So now with that, we have Robert Covington, Nurkic, Paul George, and Damian Lillard. So obviously, the only other tradable asset we have is like Derrick Jones and Robert Covington. I probably won't be trading Robert Covington though, just because obviously he's good for the nice 3-and-D player, and that's definitely valuable. Derrick Jones Jr. on the other hand is somebody I definitely think could be a nice 3-and-D player off the bench as well. But Terry Stotts didn't play him a whole lot. I don't know how Chauncey Billups feels about him, but he is making kind of a big salary. So I mean, if I am able to trade him for something better, I definitely will. I'm just not sure what it'll be for. But first and foremost, obviously, Norman Powell, we got to resign him. He's got to be our starting 2 guard. It just makes the most sense. He obviously can do a lot of things CJ can do. So we'll have Norman Powell being our shooting guard, starting shooting guard. So we'll have that. So let's go ahead and make sure Norman Powell moves to his natural position at the 2 because he is 6'3". So definitely would not want him playing the small forward anymore. That just did not work. So we got a starting 5 right now, essentially. So that is essentially a starting 5. And Derrick Jones Jr. being the backup right now, which isn't the most ideal thing in the world. So we definitely are going to need more defense. So I am looking at Nicholas Batum, a former Portland Trailblazer, somebody who can be a nice 3-and-D wing off the bench. I'm looking at Batum. David Nwaba making $4 million, a nice 3-and-D small forward off the bench. Definitely am fine with that. So we'll sign both those guys. Just kidding. We'll only sign one of them. That's annoying. Okay, so we'll only sign one of them. Zach Collins is making could get a big contract, but I'm not going to pay him that, obviously. Only other thing we could do is maybe sign. All right, so let me see what else we can afford. So we have Reggie Bullock, Jamal Crawford, Avery Bradley. So Avery Bradley could be cheap and actually somebody who could make sense here. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign Avery Bradley. That does make some sense. Dwayne Dedman definitely could be a decent backup center for us. Boban Marjanovic. We can sign Dwayne Dedman maybe to a deal. So I have Dwayne Dedman here. And then, so obviously it's getting pretty thin. Our bench is going to be the greatest in the world, but there is one thing we still have left to do. Like I mentioned, we didn't get Nicholas Batum. I would have rather have had Nicholas Batum, but okay. I mean, David Nwaba was cool too, I guess. So we'll go ahead and trade Derrick Jones Jr. just because it's the thing that makes the most sense to do. So what can we get for him is the question. Daniel House, you got Duncan Robinson, Ty Jerome, Alfred Camino, Royce O'Neal. So honestly, probably looking for a nice 3-and-D wing here just to replace Derrick Jones Jr. or maybe 2 players here, but I don't think that would happen. Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't have that much trade value, imagine. We would probably have to be giving up more. We're gonna get a 3-and-D wing, so I'm not sure who it's gonna be just yet, but I'm gonna keep looking real quick. Get myself a nice 3-and-D, backup power forward, backup center, whatever it may be, and see what I can get, because we're definitely gonna need this nice backup point guard, whatever, or backup player, wherever it may be. I know right now Phoenix is battling in the postseason in the NBA Finals right now, but Jay Crowder just seems like the perfect guy that I would love here in Portland. I'm gonna go ahead and trade for him. They wanted 2022, my 2022 for my 2024. For 2024, you know what? Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do it. So we'll have that. So I don't even think, actually, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. So okay, so we have Nurkic, Dwayne Dedmon, Jay Crowder, Robert Covington. Obviously, Crowder. The only way that would happen is if Chris Paul decided not to re-sign with the Suns. The Suns just decided, oh, I guess we're kind of in a weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. So this video probably isn't the most realistic thing in the world, but remember, I'm just trying to save this team. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead and see what else we can grab as far as the backup's concerned, because we're gonna need a backup guard, because right now we don't really have one. Our bench is pretty thin right now. It really is. So Trevor Ariza is like, Reggie Bullock is looking like the best possible guard that we can snag, to be honest. So Reggie Bullock, if you want to become our shooting guard, that would be great. There's Ish Smith, who actually isn't bad. Facundo Campazzo could sign Ish Smith as well to be a backup point guard. The bench is very, very thin. But at the end of the day, the starting 5 does look better defensively, which is very important. So Zach Collins does come back on his qualifying offer. Obviously, not really somebody that will probably be in Portland. He is going to be injured next season, so I don't really know how that's going to work. But at the same time, he is making $7 million, and that is pretty valuable right now in a trade. We definitely need one very badly. Our backups are very bad. So let me see. I guess I could maybe throw Zach Collins, Dwayne Dedmon, and try to get a backup center. Matisse Thybulle popping up is very valuable. Tristan Thompson could be nice. Miles Bridges, that's cool as well. Michael Green, Jakob Poeltl, and Drew Eubanks. So Jakob Poeltl, nice. Tristan Thompson does sound cool as well. We get a 2022 first-round pick from Boston. I don't imagine they'd want to give up a first-round pick for Zach Collins, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that instead. And we'll have a legitimate backup and Tristan Thompson backup, Houston Nurkic, and he'll be a decent defensive player, obviously, down low. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to roll with. So, obviously, not the most ideal bench in the world, but at the end of the day, it kind of is what it is. You can't do a whole lot with not having a ton of assets, but at the end of the day, I'm excited. I'm definitely intrigued to see how this is going to go. Obviously, a Damian Lillard, Paul George tandem sounds a lot of fun. Probably won't happen in real life, but the only other realistic thing I think, is available for the Portland Trailblazers personally is getting Ben Simmons. It just is, and I've done that a lot lately, so I just kind of wanted to steer away from that. So let's go ahead and get on top potential to probably Paul George, I guess, and then we'll throw it at Nurkic as well, just because Nurkic is definitely going to have to take a big role here. So power ranking Laz is number 14. And you look at our bench right now, we're going to run a 9-man rotation as well. So 9-man rotation, we have Damian Lillard, Norman Powell, Paul George, Jay Crowder, Houston Nurkic, Tristan Thompson, David Nwamba, Robert Covington, and Reggie Bullock. Not a terrible bench, obviously not the best. The bench unit is probably not, you don't have a lot of scoring off the bench. Evan Turner found his way back in Portland. So a trade, maybe the trade deadline could be useful. Maybe we go ahead and do something like that. The only other thing I wanted to look at is some shot tendencies. So Damian Lillard obviously being up there. Paul George shot tendency is nice as well, so that's good. So definitely have that cranked up all the way. Norman Powell, I'm going to boost up his shot tendency as well because he needs to be kind of that third guy. And Nurkic is going to be kind of up there as well. So, and then Jay Crowder can take his shots whenever he needs to. Covington as well. And then we also will fix Covington offensive consistency because it is actually very bad in this game. It's like very bad, and he sucks for that reason. So if I can find it real quick, just so you guys can see that I am fixing it, because look at Robert Covington's consistency compared to everyone else. And I watched Robert Covington. It's a 35, dude. That is so bad. So I put him maybe a little bit above Drake Crowder potentially. So I'll move it to like a 70. Nothing crazy, but the offense consistency is just very bad. So that is going to be the moves we make. I'm definitely excited to see kind of how this goes with Damian Lillard and Paul George leading the way. Obviously, We want to see this team back in the postseason, and Paul George definitely brings you everything CJ can do, maybe even more, and obviously defense on the other side of the ball. So let's go ahead and simulate this first season with everything out of the way, and let's see how interesting this team will be now that we've made our significant moves that we thought would make us a better team. 31, which led us to being the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. We had MVP being Giannis Antetokounmpo for his 3rd time. Rookie of the Year going to Cade Cunningham for the Detroit Pistons. John Wall, 6th man. Giannis 5th player as well. Goga Badazze, most improved. And Eric Spoelstra, your Coach of the Year. And Drew Truman, your executive. So here's your all-made first team. You got Damian Lillard making it. Awesome stuff. Averaging 30.5 points per game. Trae Young, Giannis, LeBron, and Joel Embiid. All basic team got Luka, Russell, KD, AD, Nikola Jokic. Here's your all-NBA 3rd team. And here's all defense 1st team and all defense 2nd team. So, like I said, 2nd seed in the West going up against the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, that isn't the most favorable thing in the world just because we know how the Mavericks are in 2K. And Luka, oh, he averaged 34.5. So I was probably looking at her 36. But 24 from Paul George and 34 from Damian Lillard. 17.5 from Norman Powell, getting a very nice contribution out here, obviously. And then Nurkic with 14. Chris Thompson with 8, Jay Crowder with 8, so Robert Covington with 7, and David Nwamba with 5, Reggie Bullock with 4. So obviously, you know, depending on how these playoffs go, we'll probably have more changes to make, unless we win a championship here, of course. But the Dallas Mavericks usually are pretty hard to beat just because of Luka, obviously. So game 1 is gonna go to the Dallas Mavericks. They're up Damian Lillard 32 and 15. Kristaps Porzingis with 46. So that definitely did not go the way we wanted. So let's see what happens in game 2. We do even it up though, so that's good. 39 and 12 from Dame. Paul George with 17, and then Luka 32, 21 and 14 from Kristaps. Game 3, we are up 2-1, and then game 4, we're up 3-1, so that's awesome. 27 and 8 from Luka, 24 and 12, but 42 and 39 from Paul George and Damian Lillard, which is awesome. So game 5, we go ahead and make it all the way to the 2nd round. So that's already a much better performance than last year's playoffs. So we get a rematch against Denver as well, which is honestly pretty awesome. That definitely is something you'd want. If you were Damian Lillard, you'd want this rematch. You'd want to show that that was a fluke last year. We shouldn't have lost, obviously. We shouldn't have, because we're the better team with them missing Jamal Murray, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So can we beat the Denver Nuggets here is the question. So let's see what happens. Game 1, we're up 1-0, start things off. 35 from Paul George, 20, 19 and 19 from Dame, 16 and 16 from Tristan Thompson. That is a huge performance out of Tristan Thompson in a game 1 of a playoff series. That is awesome. Nikola Jokic 25, 9 and 3. Game 2, they even it up though. 38 from Damian Lillard, 29 from Paul George, but it just wasn't enough. Jokic and Jamal Murray did their thing. Game 3 though, we're up 2-1. 18 from Jamal Murray, 24 and 14 from Dame. Game 4 is going to go to us 3-1. 31 from Jamal Murray, 36 and 13, and Norman Powell with his 27. Game 5, we are on our way to the Western Conference Finals, and that's already an awesome performance in the postseason. Obviously, the Blazers were here once upon a time with Dame and CJ, but we were playing a shorthanded Golden State Warriors team, and we still lost. So obviously, you kind of want to redeem yourself here. We are playing Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, Adams. Usually playing Zion Williamson does not bode well just because the Pelicans are severely overrated in 2K, as we all know. So they're kind of the super power that you kind of run into in the postseason, and you wish you didn't lose to them, but you just do all the time. Nurkic averaging 18 in the playoffs, or that's per 36, sorry. I'm always looking at per 36. 14.5 is awesome. All right, so here we go. Game 1, let's see what happens. Game 1, they're up 1-0. No surprise. Brandon Ingram 25 and 7, 29 and 10. Game 2, they're up 2-0. Game 3. Yep, they're going to sweep us, aren't they? That's just how the Pelicans are in this game. I mean, I'm not shocked. Literally not shocked at all. The Pelicans are pretty OP in this game, and it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, we get swept. So 139 to 134, the Pelicans sweep us. I mean, if it wasn't for a weird simulation in 2K, I think we could have basically got past the Pelicans here, but the Atlanta Hawks go on to win the championship. But hey, we made it back to the Western Conference Finals, so that's good. Again, the New Orleans Pelicans are just severely overrated in this game, so we'll definitely have to work on some things, but that's why it is a rebuild. We're not rebuilding in 1 year. So obviously, Dame getting to the Western Conference Finals definitely helps out a little bit, but obviously he's been there before, and getting swept again probably doesn't feel that great. So definitely got to make some more moves. So let's go ahead and fire our trainer and get an A trainer just for the, just in case. Let's go to the draft now. Obviously, we don't have our 2022 pick. We made them, we made some moves here and there. So Jay Crowder being here is fine with me. Norman Powell. We're content with keeping these 3. So David Nwamba making $4 million. I wouldn't mind keeping him around. If there's a better offer, so I see Batum and there's Torrey Craig, who would be cool. Doug McDermott. I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping him, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. So let's go to rookie signing. Obviously, we might have a second rounder. We did. He is a 2 overall, so welcome to the team. No player options, and then qualifying offers. Kelvin Blevins, or Kelvin Blevins, however you say his damn name, is a whatever, unrestricted free agent. So Nurkic, Tristan Thompson, Robert Covington are all guys that I basically 100% want. But you know, I kind of want to look at what else I can get, obviously, in free agency, because we're definitely going to need some more. So Tristan Thompson, Nurkic are guys that I'm definitely bringing back. But outside of that, I think we need a bench player who can score the basketball. That would probably be ideal. So probably a backup guard. So Eric Bledsoe kind of fits that bill. Maybe a long time ago. Maybe you could give him the opportunity to kind of show that he could still do that, and probably he could also play some defense. So kind of like the idea of Eric Bledsoe here. Obviously, Bledsoe's become kind of a meme, but at the end of the day, he is a veteran that could maybe contribute in a way, maybe in a bench role. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw Eric Bledsoe a contract. Will I regret it? Maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So we're going to sign Eric Bledsoe. We don't want to renounce anybody. We don't want to renounce Covington and all that. So let's go ahead, throw money at Nurkic. Let's throw a backup deal to Tristan Thompson, and then let's throw a contract to Robert Covington. So let's sign everybody, hopefully. So get everybody there. So that's good. So we'll have Bledsoe kind of being that 6-man type of guy for us. So I know, like I said, Bledsoe's been kind of a meme now, but at the end of the day, I feel like off the bench in a veteran role, I feel like maybe, just maybe, he could, you know, maybe turn the clock back to what he used to be, but who knows. So that is going to be our team going in this next season, basically. So Bledsoe coming in as a huge bench provider, I think, was our big move. Again, it's just kind of, we're just going to kind of have to wait and see if he can provide anything. But at the end of the day, I like what we got going on. We're going to go ahead and run into this next season with the same roster and hope for the best, man. So let's go ahead, run into season number 2, and let's see if we can maybe make it back to the West Conference Finals, possibly even further. Chet Holmgren, Rookie of the Year on the Cavaliers. Bol Bol, 6-man, the offensive player. Isaiah Todd, most improved, and Michael Stauffer, Coach of the Year. Gary Kemp being your executive. So here's your All-NBA first team. Luka, Kate Cunningham, KD, LeBron, Joel Embiid. Here's your All-NBA second team. Trae Young, Dame, Giannis, AD, Nikola Jokic. And here's your All-NBA third team. Paul George making it is awesome 25 points per game, 45% from 3. So we are once again, obviously, in the postseason going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves this time. So looking at player stats, 31 from Damian Lillard, 25 from Paul George, 15 from Nurkic, 15 from Powell, and 13 from Eric Bledsoe. Definitely providing a scoring contribution off the bench is what I wanted to see. So I'm happy with that. Obviously, Tristan Thompson, 7 and 9, and almost a block per game. Covington, obviously doing Covington type things off the bench. So let's go ahead and see if we can beat the Minnesota Timberwolves here. They have a very tough roster themselves with Cat, Malik Beasley, Edwards, Russell. So this could be a tough matchup. But let's see. Game 1, we're up 1-0. Start things off. 31 and 18 from Dame. Game 2, we're up 2-0. 46 from Dame. Okay, Dame's on a mission this year. Dame is on a mission. 34, and we sweep them. So Dame is on a damn mission. All right, so now we're playing the Memphis Grizzlies. Pelicans are still alive, unfortunately. John Morant, Springer, Bane, Jaren Jackson. This could be a tough matchup, but again, we're up. Okay, we're down 1-0. Memphis is another team that's pretty overrated as well, if I didn't mention that already. Game 2, in 2K, not in real life, in 2K. So we're down 2-0, and we're down 3-0. Yep, Pelicans and Grizzlies, man. It's always the Pelicans and the Grizzlies that it's just very tough to beat them. It just is. It is the way it is. I don't know, man. 2K is just the way it is. So can we make a 3-0 comeback? I highly doubt it. We're probably gonna get swept here again. And yep, we did. 119-127, swept in the second round. And then New Orleans and LA on the other side of the bracket. And you got the Memphis Grizzlies losing to the Lakers in 7 games. LeBron James won his championship at the age of 38. I imagine that would lead to a retirement, right? Or is he still gonna go? LeBron James is still going. All right, you gotta respect it. So LeBron James is he's not gonna retire on a ring. He's gonna keep going. All right, so do we keep going is the question, though, because if I'm just going to keep running into losing into, you know, into overrated teams on 2K that shouldn't be as good as they are, then what is even the point? But at the end of the day, I think we built a pretty solid foundation of what I wanted to see Blazers do in real life. You know, I don't know how realistic it is that we're going to ever win a championship in the next coming years or whatever, but at the end of the day, as a Blazers fan of me, obviously, I love watching Damian Lillard play. If it does all come to an end next season, he gets traded, I just want to see us get the best package possible, and I want to see him succeed wherever he goes. Just not the Los Angeles Lakers, by the way. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I feel like I'll just probably keep losing to overrated teams like the Grizzlies and the Memphis, or to the Grizzlies and the Pelicans, who shouldn't be as good as they are in 2K. It is just the way it is. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. But for now, this is Crushables. I'm probably gonna do a Damian Lillard 76ers rebuild tomorrow, just to kind of, make some of you guys happy. But for now, this is Crushables. I'm Dan. Peace.